Hey guys, it's Cameron with Power Sports Nation, and we're here with the Michael Sabo. And well, we're going to be doing a yard tour today, just talking about some of the units that we have here to be brought in for teardown. And we got the wonderful Miss Diane behind the camera. She's going to be making sure that we look good and everything turns out properly. So we'll just start over here. So starting off here, we got a 2019 Ranger 1000 crew. These roll cages are pretty hard to get. We've been selling out of them very quickly. So if you're needing a roll cage, be watching out for this crew to be coming in.
So it's got a sunroof, dude.
Oh, this one? These Ranger crews, notoriously, we only get the rear roof section. So these fronts just clip in and hang in right here, and then they're just held in by these little bolts. And so if this front section is just clipped in, you get a good gust of wind and they all just fly off.
You think that happened on the trailer or just became that
Probably.
way?
It probably happened on the trailer on the way home and we lost something. Mostly the roof.
Nobody likes to buy those anyways.
Over here we got something that Michael would love to have, but instead we're gonna kill it.
Yeah, this one's the one that I would like to.
Yeah, so this is a 21 Maverick X3 Turbo RR. So this is the 200 horse. There is not a thing wrong with this. It is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, we may or may not have done some testing to make sure that it works.
And we did do a little bit of testing to make sure that everything was in proper working order. So when you guys get your parts, you know that they're ready to work. So yeah, it's a beautiful unit. The blue is just pretty.
Can I do any? That's what she said, because that was a perfect moment.
Yeah, you can totally.
For the beautiful unit.
Michael, you want to see if it starts up? Just give it a couple revs.
Forget if this one needs the brake or not. It doesn't let you rev it too high unless you put your seatbelt on.
Ah.
But it fires right up.
That's the government telling us what we can and can't do.
Yeah.
Oh, it even comes with a free set of goggles.
We didn't even see that. We should probably make sure they're not Liam's.
They're Scott's. We only run fly, baby. Yeah, this thing is mint.
Original toolkit and everything.
So yeah, if you're needing a toolkit, we'll definitely be having a toolkit available.
You guys actually sell those?
On Hondas we do. So like vintage Hondas, sometimes we'll just sell the toolkit because if somebody's restoring a machine, they may want that specific toolkit.
I couldn't think of anybody that would want that.
Honda guys are weird. Michael Sabo would want a toolkit if you were restoring something perfectly.
Yeah, I bought a brand new toolkit for that 2003 Z400 and I've never used it once.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Well, you're also the guy that buys the owner manual when I have Google. Google's not always right though.
I can't get over the shock reservoirs on this thing.
Yeah, with the 72-inch cars, they have bigger shocks and then they mount them up on the rear or whatnot. And, I mean, that reservoir is this long. I mean, it's not just a...
You would think that they would route this on the inside though, because I could see a tree just...
Well, and the customer may have flipped them, or whoever was the previous owner.
Oh.
So there's
Doesn't
actually...
that seem like vulnerable right there?
Yeah, it is vulnerable. So, funny story about the front shocks. So the front shocks are orientated to where the reservoirs are on the inside for protection. The cool kids though, they'll flip the shocks left and right so they're on the outside so you can see the reservoir. So they'll flip them to each side because it looks cooler. People do a lot of weird stuff like that. But yeah, it'll be a great machine to part out. Should get every single part off of it because there's nothing wrong with it. So. And it's got a glass windshield, but we won't ship that windshield because it'll just break in the shipping.
I know someone that could use that.
Yeah.
Someone that
someone
got their
like
previous windshield smashed.
Yeah, by a certain someone named Cameron. Over here we got some tanks. So we got the Kawasaki Terx 800. This is a base model Terx 800 and that is a Terx S. Physically, they're pretty much the same, except the shocks on that are bigger, longer, and it has,
you can see it.
I believe it has 4 more inches of width on the Terx S model, which 4 inches may not seem like a lot, but 4 inches is a lot. And especially in the width of the machine, it just really makes a big difference as far as handling and capability of them.
So is this like an older machine that before the sport side-by-sides came out?
I think this one is a 21.
Oh, okay.
So the Kawasaki Teryx has been around since 2008. They started with a 750 and it was carbureted. The 2008 Teryx 750 was carbureted, was much smaller than these 800s, and they've just evolved into this. A lot of rental companies like these because they make it in a Teryx 4, and it's a very short chassis, so you can fit 4 people in that machine, and it just, with tight trails and stuff like that. Whereas, you know, you put it right next to this Xpedition, and that thing's 18 foot long.
Yeah, you can see like the length is totally different.
Yeah.
I imagine that's why those rental companies go for the Wolverines too.
Yeah.
They have like the +2 in the back.
Like the Pioneer 1000 5-seater.
Yeah.
It's such a short wheelbase, which makes it easier to store, and it makes it easier for them to maneuver tight trails and stuff like that.
It almost looks like it's a 4-door.
So they actually use the same chassis for the frame for the 2-seater and the 4-seater. You can't switch them back and forth, but that's what they have back there, storage compartments instead of the rear seats.
That's cool. I'm just surprised they make like the S model when they have the KRX 1000. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
it's like a middle ground.
And that's what they're trying to hit, is that middle ground, because not every machine fits every person. It's like saying, what's the best sports car to tow my trailer? There really isn't one. So that's why they make so many different models and variations, because they're trying to meet that customer need. And then, so that's why there's the 2 different versions of the Teryx. But I mean, then you start comparing this Teryx compared to this Polaris Xpedition, this is the new Xpedition. This is the North Star model, so it does have the full air conditioning cab. This one was laid over, so we're gonna have a bent cage. These Xpeditions are really the future of luxury riding. You actually want to pull it out, Michael?
That's what she said.
So these Xpeditions are really quite the future of the power sports, specifically in luxury. These doors, they really open and shut almost automotive-like as far as the quality, and they seal really well. These Xpeditions, so they are starting now with these Xpeditions. They're using essentially a Razor 1000 engine that they put a North Star crank in. By using the North Star crank, it allows them to adapt the air conditioning compressor, whatever that is.
Air conditioning compressor.
Yes, and the alternator. So that's what turns this into a North Star. You can purchase these without the air conditioning, but if you're already spending 40 grand, I don't know why you don't get air conditioning.
Your dad and I rode this thing, and it's like unbelievable how smooth. It doesn't really feel like a side-by-side.
Yeah, I mean,
and the front and back windshield are blown out. So it's like if those were there, it has a headliner and everything. So it's it's almost like a Jeep.
And it's even got its own subwoofer.
Yeah.
I mean, the audio that these things are starting to now produce, and the comfort of them is just insane.
Yeah, like this, just how smooth it was. It didn't feel like a side-by-side.
Yeah, it's really going automotive quality now. But with automotive quality really comes the automotive price tags.
I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, they're getting to be expensive, and they're kind of pricing themselves out of the market, which that's why a lot of people start to, run these Terexes, because, spending 15 grand versus 40, that's a big jump.
Yeah, especially if it's like farm equipment. It's like,
yeah,
you really want to spend that much money on something so nice that's going to get so dirty.
And it's going to get used and abused. And yeah, I mean, it's quite the machine. I mean, it's got factory 30s on it. For years, the standard was 25s, 26s, 27s. Now the standard's starting out as 30s, 32s. And that's a big tire. A lot of rotating mass.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to go to automotive wheel bearings. So with this 5-lug design like this, it's actually like an automotive. So it's 4 bolts and you pull the whole wheel bearing assembly out.
Wow.
Which you know, we're used to now, you know, where you have to press wheel bearings in, which can be quite the pain to do by yourself.
Yeah, and if they can do some kind of platform that utilizes something that like Honda or someone uses, getting parts could be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and so and this is 5x4.5. That's an automotive bolt pattern.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so 5x4.5, so you can actually run car wheels on this. I knew, or I saw a post on a forum or a Facebook page, they blew a tire out on their Xpedition and they went and took their trailer spare rim and tire off and put it on their machine to get it back to camp.
I guess so, yeah, 5x4.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the new automotive bolt pattern, and it's really gonna help the industry as far as bolt patterns, because I'm sure you've ran into it with your four-wheelers. The Banshee's a different bolt pattern from your KFX.
It just makes everything more pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, it's just and so like I got a buddy who constantly trades his machine in every year or two, and he's always having to buy new wheels and tires because the bolt pattern's never right. Can you film Cameron?
Oh no, he's taking the X3.
The X3 is going to its death.
No!
To its death.
Actually, I'm slightly sad.
I know. Like, it's like, I'm sad, but I also bought it, so. Is he gonna make the corner? And
so
he nails
nice.
it. It's all stock. It's not molested.
It's just so nice.
It's just a shame that we have to do this. Diane, you're doing great. We're very proud of you. But this is the boring stuff. Let's go find the good stuff, and then we can just walk out that way.
I mean, all this stuff is just boring. Yeah,
it's boring.
There's no
story. Nothing unique.
I like this one though.
40 Ranger 800s and 40. Are you recording? Yeah. So Michael, as you can see, we still have a ton of Rangers, Gators, Vikings, Rhinos, Defenders, but all this stuff is boring. You can stop recording, Mom. So yeah, here we got a sweet Four Trax 300. Somebody needed to step away from their welder. I think this actually could be fence, like somebody's old galvanized fence.
It also looks like it completely smoked a tree or something. And it definitely, we need some work on the welding skills, because if you can break out one of these bars and hitting a tree, that's it's either impressive, or it's either a really impressive smash or a really unimpressive weld.
Yeah, it was either a cold weld with no penetration. Like, it's just, I learned that the hard way when I was a kid in high school. I would weld something, I was like, this is sweet. And then you'd hit something, it would just fall apart.
Oh, it's got a Kickstarter.
Yeah, so the Four Trax 300 was electric start and kickstart.
Usually these old utilities, it's a pull start.
Yeah. Well, these things got enough compression to break your leg.
Have you felt this though? How many times do you think this was ever kickstarted?
Oh.
It feels like brand new.
Well, and they
feel like kickstarted.
Oh man, that's still got grease in it.
It clicks too.
Yeah. Well, and people have a huge cult following for these old Hondas, especially the Four Trax 300. Have you ever seen one all lifted up and whatnot?
This actually looks like the original tires, but I don't know if they are. Dirt hooks.
Dirt hooks. No, those would not be the factory. The factory would have been more like this. They would have been Carlisle's or something like that. But this is a 350D, so this is actually a really unique machine because it's actually got a straight axle on the front end. So it's a really weird machine because of how the suspension is designed. Or the
grips are like glue. Probably shouldn't sit on this either.
Probably fires right up.
I don't know, Cameron.
Give her a kick.
Just like no compression.
No compression.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I don't want to touch the grips.
They're just disintegrated.
Yeah.
So yeah, and these actually came factory with yellow headlights too.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just, the Honda stuff is just weird, and that straight axle front end is so unique, and they were tanks. I mean, they're literal tanks.
Yep. Yeah, people love these things, man. Maybe there's something cool back here. Just a battery and some mouse turds.
Some mouse turds.
This is a good piece right here.
The Honda throttle cable or throttle. Yeah, just a unique machine. You can come this way, Mom. talk about your Grizzly 600.
Dude, these, out of all the machines in this yard, this is the one I would choose. Possibly even over that Can-Am X3.
The Grizzly 600.
Grizzly 600,
so,
dude.
This is a 1998. So this was the very first year of the Grizzly 600.
2,500 miles. I don't know what's going on with the tank here. I think there's like a gauge.
Oh yeah, so they would have a
here.
clear gauge, and then
somebody just filled it with putty.
Well, with the sun and whatnot, they just always would decompose the plastic, and then they would crack. And if you hit a big bump, fuel would come through it.
Yeah, I had one of these. I think it was a 98, a red one. And I paid, I want to say $1,500 for it, and it ran and everything. Came with a set of ramps, and we just sent it, dude. And that thing went through everything. It had aggressive tires on it, and I don't think any other mods, and it just was unstoppable.
Well, and this really set the precedence for the Grizzlies, because this was the original Grizzly 600. Then you got the 660, which has a huge cult following.
660 was really cool.
Then you got the 700 now, the 550, and now they're all 700s, the Kodiaks and the Grizzlies. But has it got compression?
You might be locked up. Yeah, the 700 was like the Grizzly. Just I feel like was the leader in UTVs, or not UTVs, but utilities. Like they, I think the Grizzly was the first one with power steering. I think in 07, I remember they had that, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing."
Well, and the Grizzlies are well loved. I mean, I remember as a kid sitting in class watching YouTube, and I watched Dirt Tracks. They had their Grizzly 700 that they made into a racer, and that started my love for Grizzlies back in the day. But
I thought that was Dirt Wheels.
I think it was Dirt Tracks.
Somebody did it.
Somebody did it. But these Grizzlies just run for a long time. But with them being a big single cylinder, they just got a ton of torque.
This was probably good, like not that long ago, because it's registered until 2024.
Yeah, so it
expired. It's not even expired yet.
It might have just died.
Yeah. No key though, so we can't.
Well, and that's why we love to part out these older machines, is so that they can continue to live.
And you can see, I bet you that cylinder and head were replaced or rebuilt at some time.
Possibly.
Because it's a different color than the engine.
Oh yeah, she's locked up. But yeah, I mean, that's why we part these out, is so that whoever owns another Grizzly 600 can just keep them moving and rolling without...
Yeah. Parts for this thing are probably hard to come by.
Well, and they are, especially this 98 is... There's a lot of parts on this that are 1 year only.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like the racks, it was never rolled. Like if you powder coated these racks.
They're pretty straight. I mean, they're 25 years old.
Yeah. To
have straight racks at 25 years old, that's pretty good. It's like saying you never broke a bone in 25 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a cool, unique machine. Over here, Michael, we got something that's quite interesting. Not the machine, but the parts that are on it.
Yeah, the machine's not cool at all.
No, the machine's a Ranger 900. We have 50 of them here. These wheels are, I don't remember what the proper, or they're no flats. They're actually made by Michelin.
It says Tweel.
Yeah, I think that's what they're called, is the
Tweel.
Tweel, the Michelin Tweel.
Yep.
And they're actually made in the US, but they take a rim, that's a Polaris factory rim, and then they fold it or mold it to this. And one of the downfalls of these is how much worse it makes the ride of the vehicle. Like you don't realize how much give your tire actually physically has as far as your ride and comfort.
You're not doing a very good job of selling on camera.
I'm not trying to sell, I'm just trying to give people a description. For somebody who's working in, let's say, a scrapyard, like us, who deals with lots of flat tires, this may be the ideal wheel. I mean, we, like, all of our skid loader tires are foam filled or pure rubber. That's because we don't want flats.
Yeah.
So this has its own specific application. It's just not for me.
This has nice doors too.
Yeah, these are the Armor Tech doors. So they're aftermarket. So they don't actually have like a window. They just slide. But compared to, you can get a full set of doors for this, I believe, from Armor Tech for like $2,000, whereas an OEM set of doors would have been $4,000 or $3,500.
Are the Armor Techs an upgrade?
From the factory doors, no. They're just a piece of steel, and they're coated and whatnot. I mean, they're not if you're trying to do it on a budget, this is the way to go in comparison to like an OEM door. They close the cab and they work, but they're just not that great. I mean, you can't. I believe this window's
I love the realism camera.
Well, this window's on a slider, and if that's all the room you got in between the window.
That reminds me of my old Freightliner, like FedEx style truck.
Yeah, and that's probably what it is too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just on a slider. It's not great.
It just barely gets the job done.
That's something I haven't seen before. They destroyed the floorboard and they just welded a piece of steel in.
What's the coolest thing you've ever found in a unit that's come in? Oh, these are really good zip ties, dude. These are expensive.
Ooh, hey, that's big zip tie.
Yeah,
Say,
yeah,
this might be the deal of the day. That's big, long. This is like arrest people zip ties.
Yeah. That's a great find.
That's at least. I've never been arrested, but I've seen it.
Besides the zip ties that we just found, what's the coolest thing you ever found?
We do find tools. So sometimes you'll find like a nice set of snap-on pliers in here. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
With a lot of our stuff coming from the ag industry, you actually see a lot of needles. And so you actually have to be pretty careful.
For like livestock?
For livestock, yeah, needles for livestock. So you kind of got to be careful digging around because you might get poked. But you don't really find a bunch of cool stuff because they just, most of the time, they try to clean them out, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that one flips forward. Oh, see, pliers.
Yeah, but they're not snap-on.
They're not snap-on.
Like you promised. What is this? Oh, some new batteries.
New batteries?
Yeah.
Oh, are they good brand?
Job Smart.
Job Smart? That sounds like some Chinesium.
Yeah. Duracell, and there's a bird's nest too.
And a bird's nest. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, but this is these are disposable tools.
Yeah, that's definitely some Harbor
The
Freight.
original Harbor Freight. What's this thing? Digital
electric fence tester. Yeah. Just all sorts of stuff in these things.
Tools. You find them in all the side-by-sides, but at the end of the day, they're all junk.
That they are.
Except for the zip ties.
Except for the zip ties. We'll
Yeah.
keep these.
This actually looks kind of nice. I feel like everything looks kind of nice until you get close to it.
Well, so a lot of people ask and they say, why are you parting that out? That doesn't make sense. Well, if it's made it to our shop, there's usually a reason behind it.
Unsellable.
Well, not even unsellable, but it may have not been worth the amount of money it would have taken to repair this.
Yeah.
And so, but this is the 2-up version. This is the Can-Am Max, which if you're trying to take your honey on a ride, this is the ideal machine. And Can-Am actually makes a piece to where you can convert that into more storage.
I know who would want this machine.
Who?
I have a buddy. I won't say who, but his girlfriend is on the bigger side. And
She's a nice lady?
She's a very nice lady. And he was specifically looking for an ATV where she could sit on the back. This is perfect.
Perfect.
Yep. That doesn't run though.
No, it does not run. I believe this is an 800.
I'm just looking for the storage compartment.
Oh, it's a 650. Ooh, we got anything good in there?
It's like some handles or fairings.
Some rusty pliers.
Those look like that looks like the original toolkit.
The rusty original.
But it looks like it's been
tool.
sitting at the bottom of the ocean.
Yes. Now, a lot of these old Outlanders are still out there roaming the earth. People love them. There's this 850 back here that runs. You should write this one. If this is the one I'm thinking.
Oh yeah. Actually sounds really good.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything wrong with this one either. I think it just had high miles.
Doesn't even have a rod knob. $7,200 miles.
Yeah.
That's just a trip. It might have more than that.
501 hours. It's got 7,271 miles.
It looks like it's got an aftermarket radiator.
So that's actually a factory kit. So you can order the radiator relocation kit from Can-Am, and it comes with all the proper pieces because Can-Am makes that XMR, which comes with the radiator relocate kit factory. And so they sell this kit, and a lot of farmers And ranchers will buy these radiator relocate kits not for the mud. What they want it for is for the grass seed.
Oh, that makes sense. Especially because it's tilted back.
Yeah. So I mean, you can see grass seed in here already, but when you're running through a field and the grass is up to here, it'll plug your radiator.
Yeah.
And then as that fan kicks on, it just sucks it in deeper, and then you can't
I'm
unplug
surprised
it.
they don't have like a shield like that goes like this or something. Make it even more. But probably.
Well, they designed it for mud, and then the farmers adapted. Have you ever rode one with a windshield?
No, dude.
It is obnoxious because you can't see
rattle
anything.
around and stuff.
Oh yeah, you can't see anything.
I mean, it looks pretty transparent.
Yeah, very transparent.
You could be like giving somebody the finger all day long through that thing, and they'd be like, they'd have no idea.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to ride this. I bet you I could wheelie it. I could wheelie anything. What?
I can't say that in the video.
I can't say that in the video and then not do it.
Yes. I mean, that is a wheelie.
Would you just look at it?
Dude, there's a Trail Boss 330, a 250, that's super old.
Did you ever have one?
No, but I used to go to the Polaris dealership and sit. I wanted a Trail Boss 330, the ones that had the two square lights under here.
Before you get excited, look at the engine.
Yeah, it looks great.
No, that's a Honda engine.
Look at the belt, dude.
No, that's a Honda mower engine.
95. It's a 1995.
Yeah, but you got to look at this side. It is a Honda mower engine. Somebody retrofitted a Honda mower engine into this Trail Boss 250.
This thumb throttle is retro, dude. Back when Polaris didn't have plastic thumb throttles. Oh my gosh.
That's a pogo stick.
Now this would be a restoration and a half. I don't think there's one. There's like the axle's good, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's one that just followed us home.
I'm sure there's something on here though, like when I'm restoring stuff that just has non-existent parts, it's like I need literally the smallest thing, even the fuel cap. Like even though that's all sun faded, that could be, if you have to recoat it or something. I guarantee that's a hard part. It's pretty cool too. It has like the old Polaris logo and stuff on it.
Yeah.
At first glance, it looks like it's just like got nothing on it, but especially with the Briggs & Stratton in there.
Yeah, the Briggs & Stratton, it's quite the unique.
Or the gas tank, if it doesn't leak, I guarantee that's impossible to find.
So we just, Sportsman 400, so the next generation after this, they're plastic tanks. They're becoming unobtainium, like they are impossible to get. And we just sold one of those gas tanks for 350 bucks.
Are you serious?
Yeah, a plastic gas tank. And we're not even trying to be mean about it, we're just like, they're unobtainium. That don't sound too hot.
We have a winner.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Sometimes it's fun to just walk around out here and see what will start. Nope, dead battery. So you wanted a 330? There's a
in the worst way.
There's a Trail Boss 330 over here.
Magnum, dude. This is another one that I used to look at in the dealership that I thought was awesome. Polaris Magnum. Whoa.
Well, and what a lot of people don't realize is this was four-wheel drive chain driven. So they actually physically had a chain to the front wheel drive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's got demand for drive.
Yeah, so these front wheel drive, or the four-wheel drive system was a secondary chain. And so think about, you have to worry about lubricating one chain.
Oh, I see there's like a drive box over here.
Yeah. Back in the day, they didn't quite really know how to do four-wheel drive on such small of a platform.
Yeah.
And so they just took what they knew and duplicated it up to the front.
It's like a Chevy 350.
Yeah. Let's see what's in this storage box. Nothing. Disappointing.
It's actually like not in horrible shape though, but it could be because we were just looking at the Trail Boss. It's like relatively speaking. But yeah, dude, these Magnums, no joke. And I was of the belief that if the number on the side was higher, it's faster. So like this would be faster than a Banshee 350. In my mind, as like a 10-year-old.
Dude, as a 10-year-old, that math adds up.
In Magnum, it's like 25.
Magnum PI.
Super fast. You get a Magnum 500, you forget it. be definitely the fastest.
Well, and this is actually the same engine as a Ranger 500, 400, 450. It's the Fuji power plant. All they would ever change would be the cylinder size. And so like this engine can be retrofitted in a lot of different models. So you were saying you wanted a Trail Boss 330?
That's the one, dude. I can tell by the plastics. And it actually looks pretty nice.
We'll put that back later.
I think it's funny that these random units that I'm talking about, you just like, oh, well, there's that one that you were talking about. Oh, and here's the exact one.
Yeah.
I would actually, if this runs, I have to drive this because I've never, ever driven one of these.
Well, Michael, you're more than welcome to come try and start it.
Boost it. Yeah,
Well,
this is the one, dude. The two little square lights hanging underneath.
Yeah, the Trail Boss 330.
Look, it's got a brand new tire on it.
Man, somebody was in the process of repairing this. If
Seriously, though.
If I had to guess what was wrong with it, I bet the Sure Power unit's out of it. It's what they it was their regulator, and they are notoriously going bad.
Yeah. It's just so funny, like when you're a kid, the things that you thought were like the best.
Dude, the best.
But this was like their economy one. Because I remember I would just look for like the cheapest ones and then like think about how to save up from. And I feel like these were like $3,300. I don't know if it's because it's a 330. That's just the number that's in my mind. But
I guess I don't know what MSRP is.
But it was.
Can you look that up for us, please, and put it in the video? MSRP of a.
It's a 2x4.
2003 Trail Boss 330.
Yeah, that's right. 2003. I was like 12 years old.
Well, and it's kind of crazy. You start thinking about all the stuff like when you were a kid in the dealership. Ooh, that does not sound good.
No.
Sounds like you probably just killed some mouse's poor home inside the clutch cover right now. Just wrecking homes.
Oh, man. Yeah, these were the economy ones, man. And I was like, I set my sights on something that could like maybe happen.
Yeah.
And it never did.
What color?
Blue. I don't know that I ever saw a different color one. When I think of these, like this is like the exact one. When I was over there and I was like, the one that I want, this is the exact one I was talking about.
Really?
It's just so funny.
But, I mean, look how straight the racks are.
It's actually like, not, if you put a seat cover on this and a little bit of SC1.
SC1.
Basically brand new.
Oh, we gotta check the box. Oh, come on. Maybe? Ow. Nothing. Empty.
If we ever did find something cool, people would be like, that's staged.
Yeah, that's staged.
Like a lot of $1,000. Perfectly, like, it looks like it never got wet.
Yeah. I gotta get my B-roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's now the coolest unit that we found.
The coolest unit was not the X3. It was the,
The unit with the best story.
Yeah.
And it's got a tow hitch and stuff, dude. 2023, that's another one that probably...
Yeah, it's still registered in 23.
I'll tell you how you know. Looking for the date code.
On the tire?
Yeah. Because if somebody recently put money into this, that means that it was at least somewhat hopeful.
Wonder what this tag says.
I don't know, I can't find it.
Oh, from Minnesota.
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 That Grizzly, what's that, a 450? Like Kodiak?
Which one?
Right here. Looks
green
like it
one?
was crushed.
No, that is a, so you're gonna be disappointed in these.
Maroon.
So these are 2021s Kodiak
What?
700, Grizzlies and Kodiak 700s. And they are total. I mean, legitimately.
Do you know where these came from?
Yeah, so they came from a local feedlot here.
I mean, it looks like, that's not even like you never maintained it. That's like purposely thrashed. How do they even have, you could leave a quad outside for 3 years
and it
in the
wouldn't
sun
look this
and
bad.
they wouldn't be sun faded like this.
Yeah. I mean, they are just used and abused. I think one of them runs.
All of these came from the same spot.
All the maroon and green ones.
I wonder why they have those bumpers. I guess they're
So those are called an
constantly bumped up
exoskeleton. They put them on because
She doesn't sound bad.
so since they're in a, that sounds really bad now. But since they're in a feedlot, they put these exoskeletons on them, trying to protect their plastics. But if you look at that front hood, see how it's got a hole for the radiator cap? They just blew a hole in it so that way they could access the radiator cap without taking it apart.
That's a good idea. It's interesting that they all have like the same level of thrash too.
Yeah.
Like if you look at that seat, the damage is the same as the seat on this one.
Yeah.
It's really weird. So it's definitely like the way they're using them.
Yeah, they're just in a cattle yard just beating the crap out of them.
I wonder if the chemicals make the plastics get fucked up.
The manure.
I don't know.
So the manure has whatever is in it, will just literally eat paint and destroy fenders.
So if there's any lesson to be taken from this video, it's don't put manure on your plastics.
No.
Don't manure your plastics.
Yeah, don't manure your plastics. But yeah, there's a few of them here from that one buy that we did that just was shot.
I mean, does anything good come from them? I mean,
no. So
I can't imagine that, like.
And when we're buying this,
a muffler maybe.
When you're buying them, you're just looking at main components that you know you can sell.
The rims maybe.
Rims, knuckles, differentials, you know, stuff like that we can sell because you're not getting any good plastics off of it.
And the motors probably have a ton of hours on them.
Yeah, I think they got hour meters on them. So the Kodiak didn't come with its own like speedometer. So because this is their base model compared to the Grizzly 700. This one's got 3,431 hours on it. That's just hours. Because there's no speedometer, so it's just the
Imagine seeing that on Marketplace.
Yeah.
That'd be like a take it off the line.
Yeah. Clean owner, well maintained,
yep.
Never abused.
Clean title.
Clean title.
It's pretty far gone, but the frame looks nice.
Yeah, frame looks nice and straight, good bottom end.
Like honestly, the frame is really nice. If you look, there's like no rust in the corners or anything.
I bet that's original tires.
That's the right style. And then the
you're
660,
a big blaster guy.
This looks like an 01.
Probably is.
These Pro Armor Nerf bars were the shit back in the day. But you had to get the ones with the Pro Peg because they had like the better spikes.
Yeah. I remember building like LTZ 400s and stuff like that in the day.
The Pro Armor was like...
you would have to get Pro Armor Nerf bars with the Pro Pegs because it just was that much cooler.
That or the AC. AC made cool ones. If you got the Pro Peg ones.
Well, I always wanted the heel guards because I was always afraid I was going to slip my foot off the peg and wrap it under the wheel.
Did you ever do that?
No.
I did.
You did?
Yep, on an LT250R. Yeah, but the worst of it wasn't so much the tire on my calf. It's the shin dragging down the back.
Of the foot peg?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes my toes curl.
Yep, I've seen people get actually pulled off. But it was just a straight peg. Like there wasn't a Nerf bar or a heel guard. I mean, it was a 1988, I think. I think they had heel guards originally, but that one didn't.
Yeah, sport quads. This is a John Deere Buck. This was actually made by Can-Am Bombardier. Before Can-Am came out as Can-Am, they were Bombardier.
Oh, this is a step-through one.
Yeah, so these things were, there's always two things wrong with them. Either the CDI is shot or the crank is bad.
Or the seat's broken.
But these things are actually really well loved by older people specifically, like old farmers, because of the step through. You know, swinging your leg over a four-wheeler is a lot of work sometimes.
It's almost a side-by-side.
Yeah. It's even like a two-up essentially. But there's room for one more to Aspen.
I just remember if you had one of these, you would get.
Very. I mean, they just weren't cool. And they were kind of ahead of their time. They actually have the radiator mounted in the rear.
Really?
Yeah, so that's what those vents are for.
I see, yeah.
And so they had the radiator mounted in the rear so that it wouldn't
it's got a fan back here and everything.
Yeah, it wouldn't fill up with seeds and stuff like that.
So this really is made for the farm.
Yeah. And the parts on them, you know, like the CDI is crazy money, but you got a 1 in 5 chance of it being good. I mean, all the CDI, or most of the CDIs are bad. Like it's
probably why they're so expensive.
It's $1,000 CDI. And there's
Does John Deere even make these anymore? Or like a similar model?
No, they don't. And Can-Am built them for them, the Quest. They have the Quest 500, and they had the Traxster, which was this same similar design. And yeah, they don't make them anymore, but they probably should, because having that step through for somebody who maybe has bad knees or something like that really makes it convenient. But at that point, why wouldn't you just buy a side-by-side?
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's obsolete, man.
Yeah.
But not the CDI.
But not the CDI.
What about that one?
Which one?
That Oscar Mayer Wiener looking thing.
Oh, the propane tank? We're not parting that out. I don't know how the Chinese manufacturers got away with it for so many years, but they literally just copied the Yamaha Rhino and made it their own.
This is it here?
Yeah.
Ranch Pony 500.
It's literally called the Ranch Pony 500, and it is a Yamaha Rhino clone to the T. And these Chinese manufacturers just copied them and then rebuilt them.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing these back in the day, because like I couldn't get a Rhino. Because Rhinos were like big money back in the day, man.
Well, the Rhinos really started the UTV game as far as aftermarket accessories, and so everyone loved the Rhinos.
But I think I remember seeing one of these used for like real cheap.
There's a reason they're real cheap. Oh, what's that pipe in there?
Oh, dude, that's an LRD exhaust. If we ever did find something cool, people would be like, that's staged.
Yeah, that's staged. Who made LRD?
They're LED now. It's Arlen Lehman. This, I bet you this is for like a 400EX. Oh, it's custom welded. But this is actually, it's pretty nice too. That was just in there?
Yeah.
Or they maybe tried to make it work on this.
Possibly.
Because if you look at it,
it's been modified.
Yeah, but that's like a good can. It's like the nicest exhaust you could get at the time that this was produced, probably.
Well, and who knows if it even came with it. It might have came with a different machine, but...
That's so funny.
What we used to do back in the day, so like I had a SV 650, and I took a Yoshimura and I cut it down.
Oh, so super loud.
And so it was just obnoxious.
Oh, dude, we can give this to that guy.
Oh yeah, off your Maverick?
Yeah.
Just punching it out. Well, thanks for watching our yard tour, yard walk. Still haven't figured out a name for it yet. You probably got a lot of useless information out of this, but it's information that we both just have in our heads.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we got to find a Trail Boss 330, your childhood dream machine.
It made the day, dude. That's why I'm out here in Nebraska all the way from Pennsylvania.
Just here for the Trail Boss 330.
I want to see that 330.
Couldn't have found that at home. Yeah, couldn't have found that.
Only here in Nebraska, Power Sports Nation.
Do we have Trail Boss 330 parts in stock? Well, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and all that bullshit. But please let us know if you want to see anything specific, and we'll see you on the next one.